When I started in 1975, it took an average of 45 days to close a real estate transaction. Today, it still takes about 45 days to close a real estate transaction. Lenders, realtors, title companies all report up to different regulators, and the amount of interaction, cooperation, and integration between the participants is minimal.
And what we wanted to do was to create more transparency and empowerment for the realtor, the lender, and the consumer, and at the same time, take time and cost out of the transaction process. And that's exactly what we've done at WFG.
I started out as a title examiner trainee with a small agent in Hillsboro, Oregon. Worked my way up to sales, and then got involved with one of the national underwriters, became a regional manager. I did a lot of acquisitions. Finally, as president and chief operating officer of a company that was about the size of WFG right now, and 9 years later, we were the largest company in the business with over 30% market share. And I decided to retire in 2004. I also felt like I had accomplished all I was going to accomplish. So I retired and spent 6 years being incredibly frustrated. I mean, the one thing about this industry is once you get into it and you enjoy it, it is very, very hard to leave because of the level of interaction and the positive experience you have on a lot of people. I did a lot of things that in my effort to be busy and meaningful, but I didn't have that personal interaction. I didn't have the joy of watching people during a closing or after a closing when they've just acquired a home. I didn't have the fun and the pleasure of working with employees to accomplish something. I am very blessed. I have a wonderful wife and a wonderful family, but also you need to have a purpose. You can't just sit around at home and not have a purpose. And she made that very clear that I'd be better off and the family would be better off if I had a strong sense of purpose. WFG gave me that purpose. Everybody in the industry is an independent insurance company, and consequently their focus on the clients and integrating with processes doesn't exist. I do think that there is tremendous future opportunity in this industry, in the overall real estate industry, to take time and cost out of the process for the benefit of everybody, to make the process more efficient for the benefit of everybody, and to make the process more understandable for the consumer. And was sitting at lunch one day with a prospective investor and kind of going over this and doodling on a napkin, and came up with the idea of really having a focused entity that had owned operations in 7 Western states, that had good lost earned premium ratios, good regulation, 50-year automated title plants and all that, and that we could create a company that does accomplish what we're trying to do, and that is a more efficient process, taking time and cost out and creating a very pleasant experience for the consumers. Decided to start this company, was able to line up some capital along with my own investment to start the company, and then started looking for a name that we could use in all 50 states. And that is very difficult. I actually ended up hiring 2 different consultants to try to find a name. We couldn't find a name we could use in all 50 states. I was getting a little frustrated. One night I'm sitting there looking at a map of the US thinking about names that might be usable. My youngest daughter came by and said, "Hey Dad, show me where you grew up." So I pointed to the southwest corner of North Dakota. The town I grew up in wasn't on the map, but north of there was a town called Williston. And she says, "Why don't you call your company Williston?" And I looked at her and I thought, wow, okay. So we researched that, and Williston Financial Group, WFG, was available in all 50 states, and we therefore went forward with that. When we started this company, it was from scratch. And we had a couple people, and we grew to about 12 people. Then we started recruiting. We had a small office right on the Willamette River in Lake Oswego, Oregon. And we did this basically starting with essentially nothing and building it from scratch, and doing it by interacting with people in a very logical, rational manner, creating a company where people wanted to belong because they had a voice, and also making sure that we did it step by step without getting out over our skis by taking on debt or anything like that. So the beginning was pretty modest and slow, but we've gained momentum consistently since then. So starting the company, one of the things that was really important to me was not creating a hierarchical organization. Almost all the major players in our industry are hierarchical organizations. Their org chart looks like a pyramid, and consequently, the people at the top don't know what's going on at the bottom. I mean, they get told what the people think they want to hear. They don't have that relationship with the people that are touching the client. One thing we did at WFG and continue to do to this day is we have a relatively flat organization where Steve Ozonian and I interact with people at every level every day. And it's very important to have conversations with people that are talking to the client, because then you know what the clients are thinking. And WFG is really, really focused on that, having a flat, totally open organization where we hear everything and we know what's going on.
I joined Williston Financial Group back in 2011 when Pat Stone, a dear friend of mine and business partner, decided to start Williston in concert with Golden Gate Capital. And I was asked to join the board of directors and participate in helping understand what was going on in the broader real estate industry because of the capacities I had held, such as being chairman and CEO of Prudential Real Estate, the CEO of Realtor.com, and having run the mortgage business for Bank of America. I've had the pleasure of being involved with many parts of what happens in the overall real estate industry and how the pieces come together. When Pat founded Williston, he was really focused on providing a better experience. And what we wanted to do was to create more transparency and empowerment for the realtor, the lender, and the consumer, and at the same time, take time and cost out of the transaction process. And that's exactly what we've done at WFG. But we also believe that we've invested in technology in a way where leveraging new technology to increase productivity, enhance efficiency, and clearly to provide better tools and better data, we're able to provide a better experience. And so when you look at where we're going and who we are, we're all about continuously improving the customer experience on an evergreen basis in those technologies that can enhance the consumer experience so that everybody wins as transactions close and repeat again and again because people keep coming back to us. And we have always believed that by being the best, we would get bigger, just naturally. And we still believe in that. And that's why we have gotten bigger, because we can see that our success has been based upon a wonderful NPS score from our customers, a wonderful experience with our lenders who love the service we provide. Everything is meant to be built around excellence. And what we've been able to do is attract the best people in the industry, and we've been able to put the best team together. We aspire to be a Category 1 company, and that means being world-class, not just as good or better than anybody in the title business or the closing business. We want to be as good in our industry as Apple is in theirs, as Amazon is in theirs. And we want to know that we have the best reputation, bar none, in the business. So that means being a Category 1 company, we have to have the best people, the best resources, and the best pathway to success, because we believe in these things that will naturally get you there.